So this is the Spartan Delta Series AKMS that is said to be manufactured by E&L. It's really solid, looks great, and even smells good. But I'm going to tell you why it's still crap. Or at least in my opinion. Welcome to USAirsoft. I'm Scott Slade Hollenbeck, and today we'll be getting a look at a rather basic rifle today that was sent over by AirsoftStation.com, which is where you can get this AK for yourself for $260. But I urge you to watch this full video before doing that. But let's get right into it with where we always start, which would be the unboxing, which already looks kinda off, especially when you see a gaping glory hole on the very top. But ignoring that, I can open the box and see the very minimalistic packaging, which now explains why the box is so banged up. Now if you can remember, I reviewed a SEMA AK not too long ago that was priced at $170 and its packaging was very well done. So why is this box just plastic wrap and zip ties? Whatever, I guess I'm just being nitpicky here, but let's move on. As I said, this AKMS is sealed in a plastic wrap and is held down by a few zip tie bands, and I'd assumed that the hole on top was made by the charging handle since it's at about the same spot. And we can also see that the only loose part in this box would be the operator's manual that is also sealed in its plastic wrap. So let's go ahead and open it and find out this. So let's open it up to find that your manual shows you how to load your included mid-cap magazine, how to insert a battery, how to disassemble the exterior, and how to even remove your gearbox, which is a bit different from all the other manuals I've seen before. It also shows you an explode view and a parts list near the end of the booklet, which is also good to have. Now pulling out the 120 round magazine out of the box and cutting its baggie open, I can yank out the rather impressive metal mid-cap. For an airsoft magazine, this is sure to be one of the best looking I've ever seen for an AK. And I own a steel drum mag, mind you. It's stained, greasy, it has small dings in its shape and its edges, which is a plus in my book, and I didn't have a single problem when feeding, so high five, E&L. Now with the manual magazine out of the way, we can strip the box of its main prize and wrap this AK from its bag that has some smear marks of grease on the interior. Setting it down, we can already see the nice blued finish on its body and a deep red varnish tone on its wooden grips, which does give E&L AKs a lot of respect. But let's go over the rifle a bit more, starting with the front. For the flash hider, we would have a rather disappointing plastic tip, which throws me off for a $260 gun, especially if cheaper choices out there on the market have metal flash hiders. However, your barrel, adjustable front sight, and everything else that's supposed to be metal is metal. You will also get a full-length AK cleaning rod, which is neat to have. For the handguard, I would have to say that I really do love it. The wood is carefully carved, stained, greased, and doesn't wobble at all. And since this is the underfolder type, you would expect that the stock would cut into the bottom of the handguard, but it seems someone thought about that since they added a small rubber sleeve that covers the area that would contact with the handguard. So good on them for that. And you can even remove the gas tube with this lever for whatever reason you may have, just like the real thing, and it even takes a bit of force to get that to happen. And just above that lever will be a rear sight that's adjustable for elevation like any normal AK. This sight looks to be made nicely with its painted characters and the stiffness the dial presents itself, so besides the cheap flash hider, I'm impressed with the front portion of this build. Moving on to the receiver, we get a beautiful chunk of metal that my magnets love to hug. This makes up most of the 10-pound rifle's weight, and just like the magazine, it's stained throughout its surface, and is greased like bacon, so much so that the first time when I get it out of the box and handled it, it left a nice little stain on my white shirt. Now the receiver bears all the normal functions like an AK should, like a selector switch that goes from safe to full auto to semi. And each time you change the selector switch, you'll hear a very audible click. You'll also be getting a full metal charging handle and guide that will reveal your slider type hop-up, and a full metal trigger and magazine release. This rifle also comes included with a plum colored pistol grip, unlike the bland black ones that come with other options you may have seen. And compared to the SEMA I reviewed last time, I prefer this one. The body also features a few trademarks on the left side next to the rear sight and next to the selector switch, which you may find authentic to the true Russian rifle. I didn't find any problems with the body at all really, and I give it high merits for being as strong as it is. And I'm sure you've seen what these receivers can really take in the dozens of torture videos that have been uploaded to YouTube over the E&Ls. But let's take a look at what should be the weakest point on this replica. And that should be the underfolder stock, right? After all, these normally wobble and come undone all the time on other AKs. Well, not so much on this Spartan AK. When I first received it about 4 weeks ago, it was quite tough and even hard to fold it in and out. But after those 4 weeks, it swings a bit freely now and only wobbles a bit up and down, but always locks in place. The stock is built just like the receiver and can easily hold its own. Go ahead and use the stock like a walking stick or a baseball bat. You won't hurt it. And when you wish to fold or unfold the stock, you only need to push this button into the body. And this would also be where your reliable rear sling mount would be, while your front sling mount would be in front of the handguard. Now let me point out one thing that I don't exactly like that's under the dust cover. Besides under the guide rod and button, you'll be told what spring is inside, which would be an M120. That's actually kinda cool and informative. What I'm actually annoyed by is that I can't put a simple 9.6 stick battery down the gas tube. Maybe it's just because of the batteries I'm using, but I can't seem to get anything to fit inside, so screw it, I'm just gonna rubber band the damn battery to the side. Because that's all I can really do right now. But besides that, let's see what kind of FPS we're seeing out of this Spartan AK. Well, it looks like we're getting around 390 to 400 feet per second with a 0.2 gram BB, while with the 0.28 gram BB, we're getting mostly 320 feet per second readings, which is quite good for a field gun. And 18 rounds a second with a 9.6 volt battery is quite fine, but get ready to laugh a bit because I just have to bring this up. This thing sucks when it comes to accuracy. Even 50-foot shots at a man-sized target is a hit and miss. No pun intended. And yes, I know the hop up is a bit up, but look at that spread! And this is with a 0.28 gram BB. Everyone I let fire this gun told me how terrible it was at accuracy, so I can't defend it unless it just has a flawed hop up, which can happen. So with that already said, let's just shoot a bit and shut up for a second. Now, it may have sounded like I really dislike this gun, and it's because on a few points I do. I'd rather buy a SEMA or just shell out another $100 and buy a legit ENL, because the issues I've had with this gun may be because it's a discount version of the ENLs, for those who want to save a buck. Now this thing looks great and it's very solid and shouldn't just fall apart on you, but I can tell where they cut corners to make it cheaper. But I do like all the little things it offers too, like the bolt catch so you can alter your hop up much easier, and the realism of the mag gain stuck. Oh, and if this does happen to you, just push it forward, it should pop out. But with this review, I'd recommend that you just save your money and get a real ENL so you can save yourself from any headaches. Now I know people are going to really lay it into me for saying what I have today, and I know I'm going to be called an idiot for all sorts of things, so if anyone would like to chime in, then go ahead with the comments down below as I read all of them just about every day. And maybe one day I'll get my hands on a real ENL and see if it's a lot better than this, and I hope I really didn't make anyone angry as I just want to tell you guys the truth about something I tested. But until that next video, the link's in the description to send you guys off to airsoftstation.com to check out this gun and maybe a few others that I'd recommend. And Airsoft Station, thank you guys for another awesome Galil. I have 4 of them now and I'm running out of room. And this has been Scott Slade Hollenbeck out of San Antonio. And I'll be sure to see you all next time.